The Rezon Brain Survey was developed to better understand what parents, players and coaches really know about brain injury risk in sport. What it revealed is hugely important. The awareness of concussion is relatively high, but an understanding of the science behind cumulative brain injury is still low. The first key finding was that people feel confident in recognising concussion symptoms, but have a much less understanding of smaller force asymptomatic impacts, sub-concussions. And that matters because sub-concussions still damage the brain, and they happen hundreds of times more frequently than a concussion, and their damaging effects accumulate over time. The second finding was a lack of understanding between the link around sub-concussions and CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a progressive neurodegenerative disease that leads to early onset dementia. Many people still assume that CTE is caused by concussion, when in fact the science shows that it is repeated sub-concussions that are strongly associated with developing CTE. These sub-concussions cause the brain to rotate inside the skull, tear tiny blood vessels, brain cells, damage the protective blood-brain barrier, and create damaging neuroinflammation. The third finding was exceptionally concerning. Many respondents believe that children are at a lower risk of brain injury than adults. The neuroscience evidence suggests otherwise. Children's brains are still developing, and they face a longer lifetime exposure risk to repeated sub-concussions and rotational forces through school and youth sport into adulthood. In other words, risk does not begin in an adult game or in the elite game. Brain injury risk begins in childhood. And the fourth finding was around brain protection. There was a great deal of confusion around this. Many people still believe that traditional padded headgear or scrum caps protect the brain. In reality, conventional headgear is designed only to reduce surface injuries like cuts and scrapes on the scalp, and not to reduce rotational forces, sub-concussions, or concussion risk. Protecting the head or the scalp is not the same as protecting the brain. The Rezon survey reaffirms a wider problem. It's a lack of understanding around the biomechanics, around what actually causes brain injury in sport, and the physicality of the brain to injury. A gap in understanding exists across all levels of sport and sports, from grassroots football to professional hockey, and even within governing bodies themselves. Neuroscience and our understanding of the biomechanical mechanisms of brain injury have advanced significantly over the last 2 decades, but sporting regulations and conventional headgear has not kept pace. That's why I developed Rezon, to address the primary drivers of brain injury in sport, damaging rotational forces and the accumulated damage of sub-concussions. Rezon Halos is engineered to reduce rotational forces by up to 61% and reduce concussion risk by 74%. If we're serious about brain health in sport, we need to start protecting the brain before injury is inflicted, starting in childhood at grassroots level and continuing throughout the playing career. What this survey makes very clear is that those involved in and playing sport and the wider public need to develop a better understanding of sub-concussions, rotational forces, and their cumulative damage to the brain. Better protective decisions begin with better information and informed insights. And if we're serious about brain protection sport, we need to move away from concussion awareness alone and start protecting the brain before apparent injury happens.